The portfolio committees on mineral resources and energy, police and home affairs have now adopted a joint oversight report on illegal mining hotspots in 5 provinces: Limpopo, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, the Free State and the Northwest. Delegation leader Sahlulele Luzipo, who's also the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee of Mineral Resources and Energy, joins me now. Good evening to you and welcome. So from what we understand, existing gaps in law were identified which impact how effectively you can fight against illegal mining. Share with our viewers what these are.
Look, I think first let's say that it was a huge challenge to undertake a 3 portfolio committee exercise on illegal mining, specifically on social crimes that relate to rape and other related sexual offenses, but also most importantly that relates to the terrorization of our communities. All what I can say for now, I think that there is a direction that the 3 portfolio committees collectively have pointed to. For example, the need to review legislation and merge some of the legislative commitments, but also issues that relate to the issue of skills development as far as the different aspects of the departmental constraints that were raised. In relation to other issues, there is a strong move to ensure that there must be a dedicated unit that deals and addresses the issues of illegal mining, specifically social crimes. And if we can be able to address those issues, the general view of the 3 portfolio committees is that we can be able to then allow our South African Police Service to deal with what we call ordinary crime activities and therefore combat what I've just said in terms of the crime generally. And therefore, our view is that if you were to be able to successfully address the issue of illegal mining and social crimes, you will do a big dent in empowering the South African Police Service. Lastly, the issue that I think the 3 portfolio committees agreed to is that there is a need to ensure that there is a dedicated, independent South African Police Services and a prosecuting authority that will specialize on illegal mining activities, in particular what we call the kingpins, which we think that they are a direct consequence of the crisis of crime with regards to illegal mining, especially issues of rape and other sexual offenses that do take place in those areas.
That's interesting, Mr. Luzipo. So 2 key things: the establishment of a task force and then specialized courts to deal with, this broad and blanket problem around illegal mining. And perhaps we'll circle back to that one in just a moment. But if we talk about early detection and part of the work, and you're right, a gargantuan collaboration by the 3 portfolio committees. If you look at the hotspots in these 5 provinces and you look at the profile of illegal mining, a lot of the activity that we are looking at seems to be quite rooted and been there for a long time. What work or recommendations are you making around early detection?
Look, I think when it regards to early detection, let's say where it is rooted, and I'm happy that you are highlighting that point. Recall, there is a problem of illegal mining, which is informed by illegal foreign nationals. And that is why we said close that gap first, address the issue of illegal foreigners that are coming into the country. And Home Affairs has to review and relook at the legislation that deal what we call the Immigrations Act. Equally, we say that there are legislation gaps as far as the MRE is concerned. One of those is what I would call the RDA, which is the Minerals and Petroleum Development Resources Act, which allows the issuing of a mining right and the mining license. But at the same time, it has got limitations as far as the operations with regards to the mining right. For an example, part of the problems in many of the areas where we have gone is the failure to apply the principle of use it or lose it. And we say the department must create a law that is specific with regards to that. But secondly, if it means that the MPRDA must take priority over the Companies Act, make it that in terms of the law, let the MPRDA be a presidency and allow it to act at the expense and at the disadvantage of the Companies Act. Because our experience is that in many of these cases where you have got the illegal mining, active illegal mining taking place, it is in areas where formal mining is taking place as a result of the application of the law with regards to the business rescue practitioners. So your business rescue practitioners will come into being in the application of the Companies Act. And we say, if you apply the Companies Act, it must be subservient and it must respond to the demands and the requirements of the MPRDA. And therefore, harmonization of the two legislation is what the proposal is making. But lastly, I think there's a fundamental issue that is being made. It says, the question of illegal mining, especially the matter of threat to national security, requires an urgent and an immediate intervention of the state. And in this case, we say government must consider the utilization of the South African National Defence Force services so that we can be able to address some of the high caliber infiltration that are taking place in our country, whether through explosions or high caliber rifles that are being used in that field. And therefore we say when there's a declaration of war, you cannot retreat, you have to confront what is being posed to you in the defense of society, in particular our communities.
So there's a lot in there because you're talking about harmonizing, several laws, wanting them to speak in one voice, to deal with the issue on several fronts, including, I suppose, criminalizing illegal mining explicitly in the Mineral Resources Development Act. But then you also have, and just help me understand you correctly, the deployment of the SANDF to some of these hotspots. So is that what you're proposing?
Yes,
okay.
Most definitely. That's what I'm proposing.
Just a final question then, Mr. Luzipo, and that relates to the use it or lose it principle and those who have, neglected their responsibility around certain areas of land or mines. Is there some retributive, retrospective punishments or censures that will be brought to bear on those companies that created, that are responsible for creating part of this problem in the first place?
Look, obviously, some it's impossible. Let's be honest, and I think we must speak truth to our people. For an example, you can't have a law that applies retrospectively. But where it has just been an act of dereliction of work or dereliction of duty, we say that act, and on those bases, there will be no need to talk about retribution because the department will be doing what it's supposed to do.
Well, thank you very much for shedding some light on the outcome of the work that you've been doing with the other portfolio committee members and the recommendations that you're now making. We will definitely come back to the story as it develops. Sahlulele Luzipo is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy, just giving us some feedback on the work of the triple committees involving police and home affairs as well around the issue of illegal mining.